Hello, everyone, and welcome in. This is your reading for Tuesday, June 11th, and we'll be taking a look to see what all energies want to come through for you from God, Spirit, the Divine. So we'll take a look at the energy for the collective first, and then we'll go sign grouping by sign grouping and see what additional messages want to come through. So let's go ahead and jump in here and see what all we've got. All right. The collective energy, we have Three of Swords in reverse. We've got Five of Swords in reverse, and then we have Queen of Pentacles in reverse. All right, so with the Three and the Five of Swords in reverse there, this is going to be about like forgiveness and moving on and finding some sort of a resolution. Usually with the Three of Swords, that has to do with like heartbreak. So you're finding a way to heal and move on and find some sort of peace and resolution after having been really hurt. There's also this energy here, this Queen of Pentacles in reverse energy, and this is going to be a little bit of this like greedy, selfish energy. Sometimes it has kind of some envy laced in there as well. And part of it, as you're moving on, and we'll see as we go sign grouping by sign grouping to see what exactly this means or how this plays out, but it could also be like you're wanting to find resolution, and this may not be greedy in a bad way, but it could be, for the last couple of reads, like over the weekend and then yesterday, we had that energy of the Tower in reverse where you're propping up a structure that isn't really serving you. So from a greediness standpoint, it may not be, I'll call it the dark side of greedy. It may not be that selfish, I want this because I want to hurt you. More along the lines of I'm prioritizing myself, and I want to find this resolution. I want to find this peace. I want to find this happiness because I'm tired of being unhappy. I'm tired of having to compromise. I'm tired of being unfulfilled. So we'll take a look and see how this plays out with each individual grouping, but overall, that is the energy for the collective that's coming in for today. All right, now let's start with our fire sign, fire signs. I said fire signs, so in my head I was thinking earth signs, but we will start with fire for today. So fire is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Let's take a look and see what is the challenge for our fire signs here as it relates to moving on. What is the challenge for fire signs, please? The King of Wands in reverse. So in the challenge space for our fire signs, we're going to have this impulsive, like bullying energy is some of the challenge. Even if you're sitting in this, I was trying to say like the positive side of greedy, like I'm tired of being unhappy. The challenge is going to be this impulsive, like bullying energy. Now, keeping in mind, this could either be from you or the challenge is that's what you're butting up against as you try to move on. Because the Three of Swords, and since it is about heartbreak, this is probably, for most of you, it's going to be a romantic situation. It could play out in other ways if you had a heartbreaking experience at work, like your dreams are falling apart. But this reads that for a lot of you, it might be a romantic partnership, and you're trying to move on from this heartbreak. You're trying to find this resolution, this compromise of, okay, how do we just, close out that chapter and move forward? And, you're doing it because that's what's that's what feels right to you, like in your best interest energetically and in alignment. And with the challenge being this impulsive bullying energy, for some of you, it could be that matter of you need to walk that line where you're being direct, but you're not bullying the other person. Or for some of you, as you speak your truth, you may be getting that bullying energy directed back at you. So remember, when you make decisions that are in alignment with you, sometimes that's not in alignment with another person, so they're going to push back. You do also have the Devil in reverse coming out. The Devil in reverse is that energy of breaking free from whatever is keeping you out of alignment. So just like with these cards, where it's about finding that compromise, that resolution, that moving on, that's breaking free from that devil energy. You're moving on from something that previously has caused heartache. Because in the upright, you know, the Five of Swords is also this dishonest, ruthless, ambitious energy. So you're moving on from like a sense of being hurt and this like dishonest, toxic cesspool type of energy. You're moving on to something, but it's going to take breaking free from that devil energy. So for you fire signs, it really feels like the devil energy is another person. It's not you need to watch out for not bullying somebody else. It's that somebody else is going to bully you into trying to stay where you are. Because some people, as you ascend and as you shine your light and as you move forward, it's not in their best interest. So they're going to try to keep you where it serves them best, even if that's not what serves you best. All right, let's take a look here. We have your hard work is paying off, new moon in Capricorn. You may have been taking baby steps in that direction, and your hard work there is paying off. So it will pay off if you keep on the path. And, you know, if you're serious about wanting to actually make improvements. And I saw this in an email. I'm trying to remember the right way that it was being phrased, but it was something like, if you are happy, move forward in your path. If you don't like where you are right now, move forward in your path. If you feel overwhelmed or exhausted, take smaller steps, but still keep moving. So don't let yourself get to the point of being totally stagnant. Keep moving forward, even if it's just tiny, tiny little steps. And maybe it's not, you know, take this step every day, but even if it's just take one little step forward a week, make sure that you're working towards it, because it will pay off. No one cares, quit your whining. This card, when I came up with this card, the idea behind this one is, you know, we all know people that are like this, where they will literally sit in the same situation and complain about it day in and day out for years and years. They don't do anything about it. They just complain about it. So it's kind of that sense of when it says like, no one cares, quit your whining, kind of like, if you want people to rally behind you, it's almost that don't cry wolf type of thing. If you want people to rally behind you and you want to feel that love and support because you need help implementing a change in your life, then you need to be serious about it. Like, don't keep saying, oh, you know, my job is so terrible. Like, you know, and I'll take this out of the context of relationships, but you know, the person that, oh, my job is so terrible. The pay is awful. The hours are bad. My boss mistreats me. Oh, okay. Well, either figure out a way to work beyond that within the constructs of your job, or find a new job. But, you know, if you've been saying that same thing for 5 years to all your family and friends, people just kind of start to tune it out. So it's that whole thing of, you know, it's also feather it together with, now is the time to move. If you keep having something that comes up over and over that makes you unhappy, that means it's time to make a decision about it. You know, take it out of the realm of talking and into the realm of action. All right. We'll see what we've got here. And this is from that crystal deck. So some of these have crystals to work with, but there's also just in general a message. Journey of the soul, elegance, mastery, and totality. So this is really, it's a soul's journey. And especially like looking at these two cards together. When you look at those together and you've got this part right here really matching up with the background here, this is part of your soul's journey. This is one of those moments in your life, one of those kind of like pivotal time periods of there's soul level milestones. So breaking free from this devil energy is a soul level milestone for you. So it's very important to like stay on task there, push back against this, that bullying type of energy that's trying to keep you stuck, because this is a soul level lesson or milestone for you. So that was for our fire signs. Now let's take a look at our earth signs, which is Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Okay, that's kind of flipped. And let's see what messages, oh my gosh, are wanting to come through for Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. We'll keep that one because that was a jump card. Let's see. We'll pull a card. So what are the challenges here for Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, please? We had the Emperor in reverse, and then we have the Nine of Swords. So the challenge here is sitting in kind of this like bitter energy. It's being a leader, but you're not being that kind, compassionate leader. You're not being that divine masculine leader that has all this wisdom and balance. It's almost like I'm in charge because I'm in charge, so shut up and do what I tell you. It's more of like that sort of leadership energy that's coming through in the challenge space for you. And it's also, this is your Nine of Swords is this anxiety and stress and trauma. So those are your challenges that, and it comes across that when you get stressed out, when you get really anxious, that maybe you're drifting into this Emperor in reverse energy of I'm in charge because I am, so do what I tell you to do. And, you know, that's what you need to be mindful of, because there's energy of wanting to find resolution, wanting to push through this heartache, wanting to, you know, kind of be done with it. And, you know, if you sit too much in the this is the way we're doing it energy, you're not going to find that resolution. If you're trying to bridge a gap with somebody, this energy may bring in compliance. It's not going to bring in engagement. The person's not going to be energetically engaged and invested in the situation. From the Emperor in reverse perspective, you may be able to bully or power them into compliance, but that's not what you want, especially if it's a love relationship. All right, so we'll see if he'll let me finish or if he's just going to keep pawing. So, all right, we were looking at the energy here with that was coming through for the challenges for our earth signs, and that's going to be that sense of just being stressed out and having it push you into this, you know, my way or the highway or type of energy. And then Judgment. So this card is coming through as that sense of there's a lesson to be learned here. And this is one of those major life lessons, you know, major arcana life lessons. And have you learned what you need to learn, and have you incorporated that in? If the overall energy is pushing you to move on and to find resolution and compromise, then the lesson with that is, yes, how do you allow that to happen? How do you keep yourself from spiraling or swirling into this gritty, agitated energy where it's like this domineering, controlling type of energy? A time for healing. So this is this time for healing means, you know, it's time to stop. It's time to stop fighting. It's time to stop trying to control everything. The Queen of Pentacles in reverse energy, with it being that like greedy energy, you know, there's the push to move on, and you're sort of getting sucked into this, like, but no, you know, somebody else needs to do something in order for me to move on. And this is kind of like, no, you don't need to wait for somebody else to take an action, to say something. Like, start working on your own healing. You be the catalyst that's going to change this. So I think this was in yesterday's reading. There was some discussion about it. The whole thing of, if you're holding on really tightly to something because I need an apology from this person, I need for them to admit they were wrong, I need for them to say that this or that, like, don't let yourself spiral into a bad place because you are trying to make somebody do something that you think is the right move. Like, from a, you know, this judgment part, and the time for healing, it's how do you say, you know what, I may never get the answer I want. I may never get the apology I deserve. I may never get the justice that I feel I'm owed, but I'm going to release that and just energetically detach. And that's part of the moving on. That's part of the compromise of, you know what, I just, you know, I'm not, if the energy is all the way down here and this is like balanced energy. I'm not going to try to heal and pull everybody up to here just so that we can say, hey, it's done. Like, just say, you know what, just cut and let both people raise their energy on their own. This is release your need to control the situation. So this was the card that came up. And this goes a lot with this Queen of Pentacles in reverse energy that's coming out, this like greedy, selfish type of energy. And then this Emperor in reverse energy, which is kind of, you know, like we were talking about, it's the, you know what, I'm in charge because I'm in charge, so you better do what I tell you to do. It's that sort of energy. So this is in your challenge space. That it's a challenge because that's where you're naturally getting pulled towards. And the healing that you need to do, what you're being called to do here, is to release that need to control it and release that fixation on, no, this is going to go exactly the way I want it to. Otherwise, I'm not energetically backing away. I'm not moving on. I'm not healing. So that's your challenge there. And then let's take a look at this card. Universal Mother, nurturing, support, and steadiness. So this is what you need more of, is you need more of that nurturing energy. And some of this is that nurturing energy towards yourself. Like, don't let yourself get pushed into that pressure cooker. Pull yourself out of that and work on the healing part, and then you can evaluate and move forward. So that was for our earth signs. Now let's take a look at our water signs, which is our Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, and let's see what messages want to come through for you. So we will start here with the challenge. What is the challenge here for our water signs, please? The challenge is the Page of Swords. And our Page of Swords energy is going to be this planning, this curiosity. So it's like you want to move forwards, but you don't really know how to start that. And so that's what the challenge is it's kind of like you have a sense of, I want to move on from what is causing me the distress, but there's still this greedy energy of, but what do I do next? I don't want to let go of this until I know what happens next. So that's the challenge here is, think about it. Like, what is it that you want to do? What are what path do you want your life to take? And so once you can start to envision that path that you want your life to take, it'll be easier for you to let go of what doesn't line up with the path that you want to go on. You may not be able to clearly see every step along the path, but sometimes imagining a life without certain things in it will have to be good enough in order to kind of start that first step. And energetically here we have the Sun. So this is good because yesterday you had the Sun in reverse, feeling locked out of your blessings. Now the energy is coming through of the Sun in the upright, which is having those blessings coming in. So this sense of feeling the energy of pushing to move on is also bringing in the energy of abundance and blessings and feeling more at peace. So remember, abundance and blessings, it's not just, oh, money's coming in. It's not even necessarily like, oh, love is coming in. Let me grab those. There we go. It's also peace. It's alignment. That can be that feeling of abundance and blessings, that I'm in alignment with where I want to go in life. I'm in alignment with what direction my soul is going to take. All right. What do you need to release? So what do you need to release? This is all about, this situation that left you feeling that sense of heartache, and even with the Five of Swords, like that ambitious, dishonest type of energy, whatever that situation is, what do you need to release? What has kept you attached to that? Is it certain fears? Is it expectations? So that's what you're being asked to release so that you can move into that, to the Sun space, into your blessings, into your sense of abundance. Oops. All right, so this one was the one that came out. They aren't who you think they are, and if you're doing it with all your heart, you will succeed. Some of this is, if this is a relationship that has been causing you that sense of heartache and that dishonesty, that they aren't who you think they are. So if you're sitting here holding on to it because you think that they are somebody else, or I remember what they were like at the beginning, It's interesting. I was watching this and they were talking about how, at the beginning, yes, people wear masks because they're trying to get you to like them. But generally then at some point, once that comes off, that's who the person really is. So are you remembering who they used to be and trying to hold on to a situation because of who they used to be? But this is your challenge. Start thinking about what is it that you really want, start thinking about that, because if this person isn't in alignment with your future that you're trying to move towards, then you need to think about what do you need to release? Is it expectations of that person? Is it the actual relationship? Is it other constructs that you have within that relationship? And then this one, if you're doing it with all your heart, you will succeed. So if you're trying to figure out what direction to go in life, like at some point you kind of have to make that bold choice and say, this is what I'm doing. This is the direction I'm going in, instead of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I don't know. I guess we'll kind of see. So it's that idea of figure out what lights you up and move towards it. Because as you move towards something and you have that energy and that passion and that love for it, you're going to naturally attract in other people at that vibrational level, other people that are in alignment with that same passion, with those same goals, with that same experience. And then this one, and it's interesting. So this is this crystal deck. So far, none of the signs have had one of the crystals come out, but this says, or actually this has platinum on it. Earth Anchor, Earth Vortex, Platinum. Empowerment, remembering, and your legacy. So what is your legacy? What is it that you're trying to build here? And how can you step forward in an empowered way to say, this is what I want out of life. This is the legacy that I want. This is what I'm trying to create here. And then looking at it to say, what is in alignment with what I want to create? So rather than taking a certain job or a certain person or a certain situation and saying, how can I backfill? How can I mold myself around that situation? It's more of a matter of lead with you. Lead with you from the perspective of, this is what I want in my life. This is the experience that I want to have. And now I'm going to attract in and pull in the things that go with that experience. So the message there for the water signs here is lead with you. What is it that you're trying to create? What is that? What is it that you want your legacy to be? What is the experience you want to have? And then how do you release what isn't in alignment with that so that you can move towards your blessings? And really challenge yourself to start thinking about that and planning and getting excited and curious about, what could my life be like if I pour all of my heart into it? So this is kind of going here. What could my life be like if I pour all of my heart and my energy and my enthusiasm into something? So that is the message for you, water signs. And now, last but not least, we have our air signs. So that's going to be our Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Let's take a look and see what messages want to come through for you. And first, we're going to take a look at the challenges. What are the challenges, please, for our Gemini, Libra, Aquarius? Since there was a lot and they didn't turn, we're just going to keep shuffling those. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, what is your challenge? I'll pick that one up here in a second. And the card that I'm drawing is the Knight of Cups in reverse. And this one is going to be the Two of Swords in reverse. So in the challenge space, we have our Knight of Cups in reverse, which is about like bad moods and disappointments. And then our Two of Swords in reverse is about confusion and no good choices and like indecision. You just don't really know what to do. So your challenge is that there's some disappointments that have been happening as you try to figure out what is your path, how do you move forward, and it leaves you feeling like there's no good choice. So there's, so that's kind of energetically what you're up against, is you feel like things have gotten, the waters have gotten so muddied, like you don't really know what the direction is. And especially with this one being blindfolded, it's like you really can't see your way out. And in this deck in particular, the dog is looking straight forward. So in this other housewife deck, she's looking one direction or the other. Like she kind of knows what direction she wants to go. This one, it's totally like, I don't know. So there's some confusion. And so you're running up against that as you're trying to move forward, as you're trying to find some resolution to your situation. And, you know, you've run into some disappointments, so that creates some of that confusion for you too. Like, is this just a one-time disappointment? Is this a trend? What do I need to do? The card coming in is Temperance. So this is about finding balance. This is also Archangel Michael. So if you are on a twin flame journey, Archangel Michael is on the case. He's the protector of the twins. So this may have to do with a feeling of, what do I do? Like, my twin flame journey is not what I thought it was going to be. How do I move past this? Do I step back from the journey for a spell and work on myself? Do I keep pushing forward? So there's kind of that sense of confusion. Let's see what other messages come through. Communication is key, new moon in Gemini. And we had that new moon in Gemini, I think, last week. So a lot of it is about communication and how do you communicate your true, authentic self. And sometimes I know there's that sense of, oh, if I'm too open and honest, it's going to be off-putting, but you have to make sure to be you. The card that jumped is You Chose This Lesson. And that the blues really go with that communication. You chose this lesson and your hard work will pay off. So you chose this lesson as it relates to communication. And maybe you are frustrated if you're a communicator and your partner, your twin, is not a communicator. That could be some frustration of how do you, gosh, the cards are jumping like crazy. How do you bridge that gap? How do you communicate effectively with somebody who is not your natural communication pattern? Let's pull another card here and see what other messages we have. Charcoal, cleansing, clearing, releasing negativity. This is about how negativity can definitely color the situation where, you know, if your challenge is disappointments, if that's part of your challenge, how do you clear that negativity of finding your balance between, I'm not going to let a past bad experience, whether it's with your twin, whether it's with somebody else, I'm not going to let that color me and my thoughts going forwards. I'm not going to let it totally make me pessimistic about everything, but at the same time, having that sense of balance of, you know, when you're releasing the negativity, is it a repeating pattern that's not changing? So it is very difficult to find what that balance is. Let's pull one more card and see what is advice from Spirit for our air signs here. Advice from Spirit, please. Two of Cups. So this is collaboration. This is teamwork. With this one, it may not, especially if this is a twin flame connection, because remember that it's not necessarily a romantic connection with twin flames. It's about mission. It's about purpose, because with these two, they're holding hands. So there is tenderness there, but they're both still in their own silos. They're both still in their own cups. So it isn't, you know, like lovey-dovey arms interlinked drinking out of cups, you know, type of thing. So it is a little bit more of a, I'll call it, collaboration feels like the right word. Like, how do you collaborate in a not so rose colored glasses type of thing? So if you are at a point in if you are on a twin flame journey where you view it as, oh, this is soulmates but better, it's, you know, extra lovey-dovey true romance, that's not really what the point of it is. So you'll find more balance as you look at it as a collaboration and you know, kind of that sense of teamwork. So especially since there's this energy of like moving on, moving forward, coming up with what is with your Five of Swords, like what is your compromise, what is your resolution? It's finding what is the way forward. How do you clear any of this other heavier energy, and, you know, really work on how do we move past disappointments? How do we find which path is the right path to be on? So that is the message. Like I said, a lot of it has to do with communication. And remember, you chose this lesson, especially as it relates to communication. So deep breaths, your hard work is going to be paying off. Just deep breaths and refocus. And I hope that you found this message to be helpful. But as always, take only what resonates and leave the rest behind. And I wish you peace and joy along your journey. Until next time.